Hello, I'm Ken Robinson, and thank you for inviting me to make some contribution to today's conversations. I'm very sorry not to be there in person. Actually, I'm not, really. I live in California. You know, where would you rather be? The weather here is wonderful, frankly. But my being here is maybe of some interest to you. I came here 7 years ago, and one of the first things I did was speak at a conference at the Getty Center. One of the other speakers was Arnold Schwarzenegger, long before he decided to run for the governorship of the state. It was a bit awkward, really, in a way, a bit intimidating for me, because I was giving the keynote address at the conference and he was on the panel, and when I gave the talk he was sitting on the front row. I'd just seen Terminator 3. I mean, I know he's not the Terminator, but he looks an awful lot like him. Anyway, I was wandering around the stage before the thing started, and went over and introduced myself. I said, "Hello, I'm Ken Robinson," and he said, "I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger," which seemed to me to be completely redundant. I mean, who else was it going to be? Danny DeVito? I think not. But we got chatting anyway, and he's gone on, as you know, to be the governor and to preside over all kinds of changes here in California, and especially in education. One of the things that really struck me when I came was that arts programs had been stripped out, pretty much, of the public school curriculum, not just in California, but across the country. And the problem's been compounded by a piece of legislation in the United States called No Child Left Behind, which is one of those ironic titles that governments are good with inventing, because actually it's leaving millions of children behind. But I was very struck when I first came by a meeting I then went to, which was a public hearing on arts education, which is organised by the state legislature in Sacramento. It was a whole morning, and luminaries stood up and spoke, people like Debbie Allen, Helen Hunt, school administrators, school supervisors, head teachers, all of them saying how important the arts are and why they should be restored to education, and why they had a central role. I also spoke at the end of the morning and was sent the following week the transcript of the meeting. What was really interesting to me was that the transcript could have been produced at any time in the past 30 years. If you took off the title of the meeting, the place and the date, it could have been anywhere in the Western world, I think, in the past 30 years. Truthfully, longer than that. I was involved in a report that many of you will know called The Arts and Schools, that was published in 1982. In that report, we quoted Herbert Reed, who was bewailing the loss of creativity and of the humanities in public education at a conference he spoke at called Technology, Humanity and Education in 1957. That was at the Festival Hall, not far from where you are now, at the Unicorn. But he wasn't the first. People have been arguing the case for a different approach to public education since public education began, and consistently arguing for a stronger place for the arts. When I started my career in education in the 70s, there was a national network of drama advisors, of music advisors, of art advisors. There were wonderful programs in different parts of the country in the arts, many of which were swept away by the 1988 Education Reform Act. We argued for those in the arts and schools, and we revisited the argument in All Our Futures, which was not about the arts only, but about a broader conception of creativity. That was All Our Futures report of the National Advisory Committee that came out in 2000. Now, I'm telling you this for a reason, which is that the issues that the manifesto presents, the Manifesto for Children's Arts, are fundamental to the future of education. These aren't peripheral issues. The provision that you're talking about at the conference today and through Action of Children's Arts is at the heart, in my view, of what education should really be about. But it's been a long battle to get successive governments, not just in the UK, but internationally, to get it. Instead, what they commonly do is say how important the arts are and then do something else. And then, belatedly, reports come out telling people in education that these things are important. So not long after All Our Futures came out, we had a policy from the government called excellence and enjoyment, telling people who evidently didn't seem to know it that education should be excellent and kids should enjoy it. And then there was another report or another policy that came out emphasising the importance of personalised learning. Well, yes, I mean, we knew that it was important. And then a report telling us that every child matters. Really? Now,